Do you know how many zeros there are in a sextillion? Allow me to hydrate first. That was 1/6,670 quintillion oxygen atoms in one drop of water. By the way, there are 21 zeros in a sextillion. Now I'm ready. Let's begin. I immigrated to America from Denmark in June of 1977 as an engineering student ready to conquer America. I visited a state fair with farm animals, food booths, barrel racing, carnival games during my travel. At the outskirts was a small box with a chicken pacing back and forth. I went over and chose to play tic-tac-toe with a chicken. I thought, how tough could that be? I paid my quarter. The light came on. The chicken took a corner, and I took the opposite corner. Soon we were in a stalemate. We were able to pick up one item and move it somewhere else. The game went on for a few moments until I made a mistake. The chicken placed its mark, and I had 2 places to go. The bell rang, and the chicken got some kernels of corn. I'm really embarrassed to say that I lost playing tic-tac-toe with a chicken. My friend laughed, and I believe the chicken joined in. It was a lesson in motivation. The chicken had to win in order to get something to eat. Thus, it was the most motivated. I couldn't believe my eyes as I walked into a huge barn. They gave ribbons for the best-looking cow and pig. Now, it would have made more sense. It was for the tenderest steak and the best grilled pork chop. After travel throughout America in 1977, I changed to a student visa and soon met a remarkable woman from Topeka, Kansas. We married in 1978 and started a very large family. The last of our 8 children is a millennial born in June of 2000. We have 15 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. We were extremely poor as the first 4 children came. I only made $4.50 per hour. When grocery shopping, it was all about getting the most carbohydrates. And that sometimes meant having hot dog spaghetti made with ketchup. When we went to the doctor with a sick child, we would often sit for an hour sharing the air with other sick people. When we finally got to see the doctor for 2 minutes, he stated the obvious: your child has an ear or throat infection, and prescribed an antibiotic. The bill for that office visit sometimes equaled 1 week's of groceries. We quickly learned that prevention was much, much cheaper. Later, I got a job as a consultant to Fortune 500 companies with really nice income. I would leave Monday morning and return Friday night, leaving my wife to raise our growing family. That brought on a transformation that I'm not proud of. When I came to America in 1977, I weighed 150 pounds and wore size 30 pants. Then I embraced the sad standard American diet with hotel food in the morning, consisting of a poor imitation of Danish pastry, followed by fast food for lunch and restaurant food for dinner. You can probably guess the outcome. Yep. It was a clear case of animal abuse as I placed my now 240-pound size 42 waist on top of my horse. While we later changed our diet, the buildup in my arteries back then came full circle on Thanksgiving 2023 when I had a massive widowmaker heart attack, repaired by 3 stents. Well, let's continue. In 1977, people often visited the drugstore to get tinctures and natural supplements. Today, they stand in line to buy overpriced pharmaceuticals, toxic pharmaceuticals. Was this progress? Do we have the best healthcare in the world? Well, I love my adopted nation. However, healthcare and associated costs could be better. As a nation, we spend 2.5 times the average of the industrial nations. With that, we should have the best care in the world. Well, America ranks number 37 among the industrial nations in terms of quality of health, and changing to a state-run system does not improve the score. Denmark, the poster child for socialism, ranks number 34. And our neighbor to the north, the Canadians, they rank number 30. Well, at least the American healthcare system is safe. Or is it? Let's take a look. Lack of cellular oxygen is a contributor to heart disease that for the most part is preventable and has claimed about 650,000 lives. Lack of cellular oxygen is a direct cause of cancer that is often preventable and frequently curable, taking around 600,000 lives. The doctors take an oath, above all, do no harm. The American Medical Association stated that the American healthcare system is the third leading cause of death annually, with over 251,000 avoidable deaths. And those numbers have not changed much since 2017. According to the CDC, that number includes 1.7 million people who get hospital-acquired infections, where about 99,000 die needlessly annually. And those were pre-COVID-19 statistics. Well, don't just blame the hospital. Ignorance of long-term consequences of lifestyle choices brought people to the hospital. Without insurance, my wife and I had to decide whom to trust, whether the natural solution or pharmaceutical suppression of symptoms. After looking at those statistics, we chose to take our care into our own hands, using natural solution as a primary care and the medical system as alternative care. While the average doctor has little, if any, nutritional or preventive instruction, I took courses, read many books, followed several doctors who have turned to a more holistic approach to healing. I am now a wellness researcher and educator with over 10,000 hours of education. I summarized it in a book I call Oxygen for Life, Key to Health, and in a free 16-screen digital theater. The choice was easy when contemplating how to put the knowledge to use in addition to the many presentations I have given. I started Oxygen for Life, a not-for-profit organization. Our primary objective is to work with the veterans by serving them through the VFW and the American Legions organizations and guiding them to improve their quality of life. But that's a topic for another TEDx presentation. Along the way, I learned that like a coal-fired power plant, you only have one intake port, and the output is 90 millivolts of cell power under ideal conditions. If your power plant lacks water, fuel, oxygen, or has corrosion due to free radical damage, then you've got a serious health issue. Reducing the cell voltage is much like unplugging the power to your refrigerator. The water will go stale, the lipids will go rancid, proteins will start rotting, minerals will turn rusting, and the carbohydrates will generate fungus. In this section, you will explore the most crucial atom. You will find out that lack of oxygen at the cell level is the root cause of most of what ails us. Increasing the cellular oxygen is the key to recovery, prevention, and quality of life, especially in our senior years. Each cell in our body is a small city of organelles and contain multiple mitochondria, which creates 90 millivolts of power. You will find the chromosomes you got from your parents inside the nucleus. The end cap on the chromosome is called the telomere. They protect our DNA and are in charge of longevity. Each time the cells replicate, the telomeres get shorter. So feed your mitochondria and protect your telomeres as if your life depends on it, because it does. The key to cellular health is to increase cellular oxygen by keeping your body alkaline, where the inner fluids surrounding your organs have more oxygen than hydrogen. The best way to do that is by drinking alkaline water. I wish I could take credit for discovering the key to cellular health. While I have over 10,000 hours of research and self-education, we must go back 100 years to understand the concept. In 1918, the First World War was going strong. A 30-year-old cavalry officer and frontline surgeon received the Iron Cross for a minor wound. As a friend of his family, Albert Einstein petitioned to have him released from war duty. Albert Einstein did not want his best friend, Dr. Otto Warburg's talent wasted on the front line. Dr. Warburg had a dual degree in medicine and chemistry. He was a researcher at heart and wanted to understand the workings of tumors and cancers. Over the next 13 years, he got 26 Nobel nominations and was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1931 for discovering how to create and heal tumors and cancers. In his Nobel speech, Dr. Warburg stated that cancer, above all other diseases, have a lot of secondary causes. But even for cancer, there is only one prime cause, and that's the lack of cellular oxygen. He further stated, no disease, including cancer, can thrive inside an alkaline environment and deprive a cell of 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours, and it is likely to become cancerous. However, the doctors cannot monetize oxygen, and the pharmaceutical industries cannot make an oxygen pill, and his discovery has remained ignored until now. Let me explain Dr. Warburg's research on pH in layperson terms. pH stands for potential hydrogen. I personally prefer PO, potential oxygen, as that is what regulates the healing and prevention. If you become acidic through what you drink, then your body will contain more hydrogen than oxygen and prone to disease. Let us take just 4 ounces of sugar. That is equal to 2 bottles of Coca-Cola. I don't drink this stuff. That is enough to bring 3/4 of a gallon of water to a boil. If converted over to electricity, it can bring a 100-watt light bulb to burn for 5 hours. For you to burn it, you would need to walk in the mountains with a backpack for an hour. But the bigger problem is the billions of oxygen molecules needed to metabolize the sugar, bringing your body into an acidic state and more prone to disease. My grandmother was diagnosed with cancer in 1940, and the doctors told her that if she didn't operate, then that she would die. Her female intuition said, if you do operate, then I'll die. So she turned it down and went to her nutritionist, who remembered that Dr. Warburg had found the cure for early-stage cancer in 1931. So she became an extreme vegetarian and lived on for another 35 years, free of cancer. She only lived on the greens, herbs and foods and vegetables and herbs. I now knew that I had found the ultimate key to health, pH and cellular oxygen. I got a distributorship for a water electrolysis machine and a PEMF, pulse electromagnetic energy mat, capable of improving the cellular performance of oxygen by 25 to 30%. Armed with those tools and the knowledge, I can now assist people in reaching a higher quality of life. In 2010, I went on to my dentist, who said he had contracted cancer after years of drilling in mercury-laden fillings. Through research, my dentist knew that half of the patients died from the harsh chemo and radiation therapy. That is why he opted to stop pursuing chemo and radiation. When I told him about my grandmother and showed him how he could drink small clustered alkaline free radical scavenging water, he purchased a water machine from me. Within a month, he had his energy restored. I later sold him a PMF mat, and he says I can now bend over my patients all day without discomfort. In 2010, he went to his oncologist for his annual checkup. The doctor told him, "Do not come anymore. You're wasting my time and your time. You have been cancer-free for nearly a decade." I have enjoyed small clustered free radical scavenging water with 10,000 times more oxygen for the last 20 years, and health improving PEMF frequencies for nearly a decade. Aside from food poisoning in 1978, I have enjoyed incredible health. Let me tell you about how high pH water saved my life. In March of 2021, I inadvertently opened a back door to a severe case of COVID-19, which ravaged my lungs to only 17% lung capacity and blood oxygen below 80. During the 2 weeks in the hospital, the doctor's protocol of antibiotic and remdesivir was not beneficial, and even the hospital administrator gave up on me and would not give my wife hope of my return. I was like a massive fish out of water gasping for air. The doctor allowed my family to bring colloidal silver, natural supplements, and alkaline water containing 30,000 times more oxygen than the source water. I survived the 2 weeks in the hospital stay. When I was released, I only had 22% lung capacity. However, my blood oxygen had gone up to 91%, thanks to the alkaline water. I know that it was God, prayers, alkaline water, cellular stimulation, my wife's care, health-promoting meals that was the reason for my incredible recovery. Do you or somebody you love need health improvement? Then change your water to high pH, low clustered alkaline water and alkalizing food. Focusing on pH is much more beneficial than focusing on carbs, sugar, calories, salt, cholesterol. These are all secondary. Over 85% of people die from slow suicide by fork by enjoying food and drinks that are detrimental to their health. See, the problem is not the problem. It's an indication of an underlying problem. By focusing on the obvious, we never solve the real issue and end up turning their retirement savings over to the medical system and assisted living. But not you. By understanding the body at cellular level and consciously choosing to drink and eat alkalizing food, your body will heal and prevent disease. We can enjoy our retirement years if we pay attention to pH. Remember what Dr. Warburg said: no disease, including cancer, can thrive in an alkaline environment. This essential key to health of alkaline living can bring hope to millions.